Fantastic. You are still here for part one, which is what is a habit? Habits are those wonderful behaviors that you don't have to think about. The brain likes habits. It opens up those big old frontal lobes for time to think about more important stuff like, did I leave the oven on when I left the house today? It's estimated that roughly 40 to 50% of our daily behaviors are based on habit. For example, did you have to think about brushing your teeth or the order of operations in the shower this morning? No, because your habit loving brain was on autopilot. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains that habits are built on a feedback loop. If a behavior results in a satisfying consequence, it will be repeated. If the results are unpleasant, however, then it likely won't. So a habit can be broken down into four steps: the cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. In simple terms, your mind notices a cue. That in turn is going to lead to a craving, and then a response or a behavior follows in order to alleviate that craving, which then turns into a reward. This happens all day long, way more often than you would think. So let me give you an example of one in my life that drives my husband crazy. Number one, the cue. I get in the car. Number two, the craving. I decide I need something to drink. Number three, my response. Starbucks is really easy, has a drive-through, I have the app on my phone so I can order ahead. And then four, the reward. I satisfy my craving with a yummy drink while driving, so Starbucks becomes associated with driving. I do this all the time. Seriously, I have a problem, or at least my husband thinks I have a problem. Anyway, the point is that I've repeated this feedback loop so many times that it is now ingrained as a habit that I either don't think about before doing it or I actively have to fight against it. But not all habits are bad. Take this example. Number one, the cue. I wake up. Number two, the craving. I do not want to kill my family with my bad breath. Number three, the response. I brush my teeth immediately. And number four, now I can talk to people safely. So clean teeth becomes associated with social acceptance. Habits are things like reaching for the light switch in a dark room, or where you put your plate after using it, or checking your phone when it buzzes, or using your turn signal, all of these things that you do without a second thought. And these habits automate simple behaviors, which allow us to ponder more important things, like why the driver in front of me still has his turn signal on. Is it an eventual left? Anyway, here's what I want you to do with today's activity. I want you to take 5 minutes to identify a few of the habits that you have. Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. I want you to break down and identify the cue, craving, response, and reward that you have for each of those habits.